Space was big, bigger than most people could imagine. It stretched so far that even the fastest ships needed years to cross it. But not all who traveled through space were peaceful. Some came looking for power, others came for war. The Zeleri were one of those races. Tall, dark, and built like hunters, they had ruled the stars for centuries. No one stood against them. Their ships looked alive, with glowing veins and sharp edges that cut through the blackness of space. They moved from world to world, taking what they wanted, crushing anyone who fought back. They had no fear. They had no reason to be afraid. Until now, a small Zeleri scouting fleet vanished near the edge of known space. No distress call, no wreckage, just gone. The only clue was a strange signal found floating in the void, a corrupted data file. Inside it was something unexpected, a sound, a laugh. It wasn't a Zeleri laugh. It didn't belong to any species they knew. It was light, almost careless. And somehow it scared them more than any weapon ever had. Back on Earth, life still went on. Cities buzzed with noise. Planes flew overhead. Kids played games after school. But out past Neptune, something old was waking up. Derek Harlan stood on the bridge of the SS Claymore Ear, a patched-up salvage ship with more duct tape than paint. He used to be a soldier, but now he hunted broken ships and forgotten tech for cash. His crew wasn't big. Lisa Connor sat at the controls, watching the radar. She could fly anything and fix half the ship blindfolded. Ben Cruz leaned against the wall, cleaning his knife. He didn't talk much, but when things got rough, he was the kind of guy you wanted beside you. Maya Porter studied alien symbols on a cracked screen. She understood languages most people couldn't pronounce. And then there was Jake Terry, the youngest, barely out of high school. He liked machines more than people, and spent most of his time in the engine room talking to wires like they could hear him. They had been sent to check out a strange object drifting near the edge of the solar system. It looked like a dead alien station, maybe thousands of years old. No one expected it to still work, but as soon as they touched it, lights flickered to life. Something deep inside the station powered up. Ancient systems groaned awake, and without warning, a pulse shot into space, silent, invisible, and fast enough to reach across the stars in seconds. No one on the Claymore saw it happen, but somewhere far away eyes opened, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Zeleri came fast. They didn't send messages. They didn't ask questions. They just arrived. Their ships dropped out of warp like shadows falling from the sky. Dark, jagged, and pulsing with strange light, they moved with cold purpose. Earth's satellites saw them first. Then the space stations. Then the people on the ground looked up and saw fire raining down from the stars. Panic spread like wind through dry grass. Derek Harland and his crew barely had time to react. They were still near Neptune when the Zeleri appeared. Lisa shouted a warning as alarms blared across the SS Claymore. Ben grabbed his gear. Maya stared at the screen, frozen by the alien symbols flashing faster than she could read. "We need to move," Derek yelled. Jake was already in the engine room, trying to get the ship working. The Claymore groaned like an old man waking up too fast. Outside, the Zeleri warship loomed, its massive form blotting out the stars. Then it fired. The blast missed, but not by much. The shockwave sent the Claymore spinning into the dark. Systems flickered. Lights died for a few seconds. Then somehow the ship held together. "Can you get us out of here?" Derek asked Lisa. "Maybe," she said, pulling levers and punching buttons. "But I don't know where we're going." "Just away," he said. She hit the warp drive. Space twisted. Stars stretched into lines. And then, silence. When they came out the other side, everything hurt. The ship was damaged. Oxygen levels were low, and no one knew where they were. "Somewhere deep," Ben muttered, looking at the scanners. Not on any map. They were stranded, far from home, with a Zeleri warship probably still hunting them. As they tried to fix what they could, Lisa noticed something strange in the alien tech they had found. It was responding to their voices, not commands, emotions. "This thing isn't just a drive," she said. "It reacts to feelings." Mayo checked the data. "Like laughter?" Yeah, Lisa said. Why? Derek let out a nervous chuckle. It wasn't loud, just a small sound, but the alien console lit up. Power surged through the ship. Systems rebooted. Weapons came online. And suddenly, the Claymore wasn't helpless anymore. Outside, the auxiliary ship reappeared. Ben didn't wait. He fired. The shot hit true. The enemy ship exploded in a flash of red and black. The crew stared at each other. Did we just win? Jake asked. No one answered right away, because for the first time, the Zilari hadn't been defeated with brute force or superior tech. They had been beaten by something they didn't understand. A human chuckle. Earth was burning. The Zilari had landed on several continents. Cities fell under their attacks. Ships filled the skies like dark clouds. People ran, hid, or fought back with whatever they had. But nothing worked. Bullets bounced off alien armor. Missiles were swallowed by energy shields. Hope was slipping away. But not everyone had given up. Far from Earth, Derek and his crew floated in deep space aboard the SS Claymore. The ship was damaged, but still flying. They had survived the jump, barely. And now they had something no one else did, a way to hurt the Zilari. They didn't know how it worked, not really, but laughter made the alien tech react. Something about the sound, the emotion behind it, triggered a response the Zilari couldn't handle. Ben stared at the screen. So we beat them, with jokes? Not exactly, Lisa said. But it's something they don't expect. Maya looked through the data again. It's more than just noise. It's emotion, joy, surprise, maybe even sarcasm. Jake grinned. So we hit them with humor. Derek stood near the controls thinking. He didn't feel like laughing, not after seeing what the Zilari had done to Earth. But he knew this was important, maybe the only thing that could save them. They picked up a distress signal. A human colony on the edge of the system was under attack. No fleet, no defenses, just people waiting to die. We can't save everyone, Derek said. But maybe we can try. They flew toward the colony, keeping hidden as best they could. When they arrived, the Zilari were already there. Drones patrolled the skies. Troops marched through the streets. Civilians were being rounded up. Derek gave the order. Lisa activated the alien console. She played the recording, a loop of Derek's chuckle mixed with random voices, jokes, and music. The signal broadcasted across the area. At first, nothing happened. Then one of the drones twitched. Its lights flickered. It stopped moving. Another followed. Then a third. Zilari soldiers froze. Their heads turned. Some screamed. Others dropped their weapons and walked away. The colonists didn't understand why, but they ran while they could. Back on the Claymore, the crew watched in shock. It worked, Maya whispered. They're not unstoppable, Ben said. No, Derek agreed. They're scared of something they can't control. And for the first time since the invasion began, humans had something the Zilari didn't expect. A reason to fight back. And maybe, just maybe, a way to win. The SS Claymore jumped from system to system, always one step ahead of the Void Wraith. The alien hunter never stopped. It followed every signal, every trail, every whisper across space. Derek and his crew were tired. The ship was falling apart. Every part of it groaned like it might give up at any moment. But they couldn't stop. They needed answers. They found them on a moon that had no name. It floated in silence, far from any sun. No life, no signals, just ruins buried under dust and time. Lisa landed the Claymore near what looked like an old temple. Broken towers rose from the ground like bones. Inside, the walls were covered in symbols, some familiar. Maya ran her fingers over them. This language, it's older than the Zilari. They moved deeper into the ruins. Lights flickered to life as if the place had been waiting for them. A large chamber opened up. In the center stood a tall crystal. It pulsed with soft light. A voice came from it, not loud but clear. It told a story. Long ago, the Zalari were not monsters. They were explorers, thinkers. They built cities and shared knowledge with other species. But they found something they should not have touched. A weapon made of thought and emotion. It changed them. It turned them into hunters who could not feel joy or fear. Only hunger. Only control. But the weapon had a weakness. Emotion and laughter was the strongest of all. Ben looked at Derek. So we're not just fighting them, we're waking them up. Maya nodded. If we can reach deep enough, we might be able to break the hold this thing has on them. Jake looked nervous. How do we do that? We hit them with something bigger than jokes, Lisa said. Something real. Then the ground shook. The void wraith had found them. Outside, the sky darkened as the massive ship lowered itself onto the surface. Zalari soldiers poured out, weapons ready. There was no escape. Derek looked at his team. We make this count. Ben grabbed the punchline and stepped forward. He activated it full power. Laughter filled the air. Not just noise, real laughter, joy, hope, memories of home. The Zalari soldiers froze. Some fell to their knees. Others dropped their weapons. But the void wraith kept coming. And this time, someone would have to stay behind. Ben stayed behind. He stood at the control panel inside the ruins, the punchline in one hand, a pistol in the other. The Zalari were closing in, but he didn't run. He couldn't. Get out of here, he shouted over the comms. Derek wanted to argue, but Lisa was already pulling him toward the SS Claymore. Maya and Jake followed, hearts heavy but moving fast. Dust filled the air as explosions echoed through the ruins. Then came the sound. Deep, powerful burst of laughter, mixed with music, jokes, and voices from Earth. It wasn't just noise. It was everything Ben could feel. Joy, anger, hope, and love. The signal hit the Zalari like a wave. Some dropped to their knees. Others turned on each other, confused and scared. The void wraith tried to shut it down, sending drones to destroy the source, but it was too late. Ben gave one last laugh. Then silence. Back on the Claymore, no one spoke. They had lost him, but they had also won something bigger. The signal kept spreading. Across the galaxy, resistance groups picked it up. On Earth, prisoners broke free. In space, captured ships stopped fighting. The Zalari were falling apart. Not from weapons, but from emotion. Derek stared at the stars. We have to finish this. They flew to the Zalari homeworld, a dark planet covered in oceans and floating cities. There, the weapon still pulsed, feeding fear into every Zalari mind. If they could shut it down, they could break its hold forever. Getting close was suicide. Zalari ships swarmed them the moment they jumped into orbit. Lasers tore through the Claymore's hull. Systems failed one by one, but they pushed forward. With help from Emmett, the hacker they had saved earlier, they hacked into the main network. They found the core, the heart of the weapon. Lisa worked, fast. Maya translated the alien commands. Derek made the final choice. He activated the punchline one last time. This time, it wasn't just a loop of laughter. It was everything humanity had. Music, stories, jokes, dreams. It was life. The signal hit the core, the weapon cracked, and across the stars the Zalari screamed, not in pain, but in surprise. For the first time in centuries, they felt something new. Confusion, freedom, and maybe joy. The silence after the signal was louder than any battle. Across the galaxy, Zalari ships stopped firing. Troops dropped their weapons. Command centers went dark. The war didn't end with one last shot. It ended with something softer. A sound that had once been feared now brought peace. On Earth, people looked to the sky as the alien ships above them floated still. Then slowly they began to fall. Some crashed. Others landed gently. Their pilots no longer enemies, but confused beings trying to understand what had just happened to them. Derek and his crew stood on the bridge of the SS Claymore, watching it all unfold. Lisa checked the readings. It's working, she said. They're waking up. Maya translated the Zilari messages coming in from across space. Some were crying, others were asking questions. Most were simply silent, trying to feel again. Jake sat near the back, quiet. Ben was gone, and the weight of that truth hung over them all. But they had done what they came to do. They had broken the weapon's hold, and they had done it without hate. In the weeks that followed, humanity became more than survivors. They became teachers, helpers, friends. Some Zilari chose to leave and find new lives. Others stayed, wanting to learn about the species that had beaten them not with force but with joy. Derek didn't stay to celebrate. He took the Claymore back into deep space, with Lisa, Maya, and Emmett beside him. There were still ruins to explore, still stories to find, still worlds that needed help. And somewhere far away on a planet once filled with fear, a former Zilari soldier heard a child laugh. He paused. Then, for the first time in centuries, he smiled. Because now, he understood. Not all warriors carry guns. Some carry songs. Some carry stories. And some, like Derek and his team, carry something even stronger. They carry laughter. And in a universe full of danger and darkness, that was the most powerful sound of all.